Hello, good morning. Welcome to Gaming Insight Daily for, what is it today? Oh, Thursday, August 21st, 2025. I'm Steve Saylor. This is your sometimes daily show of gaming news, accessibility news, or updates about my life. I have coffee in my Twitch mug today. And I'm excited because today I can be able to go check out Fan Expo in Toronto. I actually have something I can't talk about just yet, but I'm going to be able to check out some games today, and I'm hoping to be able to have some info about that or some gameplay info or what have you come next week. So stay tuned to next week. Next week's episodes, I'll be talking about the games that I got to play at Fan Expo, so stay tuned for that. But today, speaking of gameplay, we may not be at Gamescom, but there are definitely people and journalists and folks who are playing brand new games at Gamescom, and we're going to talk about at least 3 sort of experiences from folks who have played certain games at Gamescom, one of which not so great, and 2 potentially could actually be some really good games when you can get your hands on it. So let's just jump in. First one, unfortunately, starting off with kind of the potential bad news. This is from Jordan Midler over at VGC. Elden Ring on Switch 2 drops to 15 frames per second in handheld mode, it's claimed. Elden Ring Tarnished Edition is set to debut on the Nintendo Switch 2, and this week the game is playable publicly for the first time at Gamescom. According to media who've played the game at the event, the Switch 2 port has significant performance issues, including severe frame rate drops. According to Nintendo Live's Felix Sanchez, while the game looks really good graphically, the game's performance is a major issue. The game has a maximum frame rate of 30 frames per second on handheld mode, but according to Sanchez, the game struggles to meet that. It's really bad, quote, and I understand why they don't want you to see this, says Sanchez, end quote. Sorry, I butchered that. It's really bad, and I understand why they don't want you to see this, says Sanchez, referring to the fact that publisher Bandai Namco isn't allowing footage of the game to be captured. It was like playing Ocarina of Time 20 frames per second. Sometimes it was like 15 frames per second. Elden Ring Tarnished Edition is due for release on Nintendo Switch 2 this year, though no specific release date has been announced. Released in February 2022, Elden Ring is going to comfortably From Software's biggest commercial hit, having been shipped over 30 million copies according to its developer. Well, now we're kind of getting into some more specific stuff about Nitro. So, yeah, I have heard from other folks too that they're from Gamescom that apparently Elden Ring is not playing well and working well with others in regards to performance on the Switch 2, and that's surprising a little bit because this is the first time that we've kind of heard this from about a game for the Switch 2. Most often we've seen games that have performed poorly on the original Switch have actually done really well on the Switch 2 with its new hardware, and it is shocking that current demos of this game that supposedly is going to be launching this year the performance issues are lacking, or definite performance issues are there where it can drop to 15 frames per second, which in a game like Elden Ring where your timing is crucial to be able to get combos and attacks done correctly, having it drop to 15 frames per second is definitely troubling. I don't know what could be causing it right now. Basically, it could just be more of it, just a build that wasn't really ready for prime time, and they may potentially have Bandai Namco may have potentially had to rush it, or Nintendo may have had to rush it because I would not imagine that they would have wanted to showcase this demo at this like, especially Gamescom. Gamescom is huge. Like, it's over 500,000 people that come to this thing. So they must have been confident enough that this demo would have been good enough for gameplay, because if they were confident enough that they could let people in the public come in to play this, they must have been confident enough that this demo would have worked. There might have been some folks that basically said that potentially may have told, there could be many different reasons as to why this could have happened. One of which could have been the developers probably said this is not ready, the demo's not ready, but either Nintendo or Bandai Namco was like, no, we need to be able to, like, tells From Software, it's like, we need to have this out. We need to be able to showcase this at Gamescom. It's our biggest sort of marketing push. We need this. That could have been, and they just sort of tried to be able to create a vertical demo for this. Or it could be that, I don't know how their demos are technically run, but Nintendo does have very limited demos at these events. Case in point, for the Nintendo's 2 Switch event that I was at, the demos that we played were they were specifically timed to end after 20 minutes, regardless of where you were. And it's designed to be able to have you weren't able to access, or as far as we knew, we weren't able to access the settings menu, anything like that at all, in order to be able to improve our own gameplay experience. These were demos that were specifically designed for these events, or developed for these events. So I would imagine that Nintendo has something like that too. Not to say that Nintendo sort of meddled with the game in order to be able to make it work, but I think probably with the requirements of this game, and also the requirements of just how powerful this how powerful an engine this game is running, I could see where there could have been something that would have broken in basically some things probably was working and just isn't working for these demos. It's not to say that everything is like that, because apparently there are future events where Elden Ring is going to be that Nintendo's going to be showcasing at different events. PAX West, I think, believing to be one of them. So it's either it's just maybe this is just a bad sort of build that just needs to be updated, which can happen. I mean, and there has been times where you would get a build of a demo that doesn't work, so you basically work on something overnight to be able to create a new build for folks. But who knows what may have happened, and why this would have caused it. It's not to say that right now that the entire game is going to be performing badly. It just could mean that basically that they would have more extra work in order to be able to make sure that it is running correctly on the Switch 2. But I also would not be surprised, based on the performance of this demo, that Bandai Namco and From Software could be like, yeah, we're gonna need to delay this a little bit, which is entirely possible. The way that development can be, if they feel like that, if it's constantly where if it's one or two cases, I could see that. Okay, you know what? Maybe it's just a bad build on a bad on whatever hardware it was. It just, because even though every Switch 2 is similar, there could be some just sort of bad sort of seating on a chip somewhere or something like that. So you never know if it was just a one or two case thing. But if it's happening to multiple people and multiple game journalists are seeing the same thing, that might be a sign to From Software to be like, okay, we need to be able to put this on hold for a minute until we can be able to fix the bug issues with this. They have been able to optimize the game. I mean, it is Elden Ring, so it is a several-year-old game, and they've been able to optimize it, I guess, to a certain degree, where obviously where they're able to have Night Rain being already out and seems to be performing well. But I think it's just potentially maybe From Software just didn't have enough time with the Nintendo Switch 2 dev kit. Who knows? Again, there's a lot. I'm mentioning all these sort of potential reasons as to why this thing, this is not necessarily a sign of, oh, it's just this is how the game is going to be. Or that it's anyone's fault. It's not Bandai Namco's fault. It's not From Software's fault. It's not Nintendo's fault. There could be just multiple different reasons to why. We just don't know the behind the scenes of what is happening. But I would probably predict that this will probably be potentially this might push Elden Ring back to potentially early next year, I think, for release. I think, let me just double check to see what they had said for the release date, because I don't think they have locked in a specific date. I don't even think that they even set a date for it. Because basically, it just says release date 2025. So I would be willing to bet, with these performance issues, if they're not able to fix the performance issues after after the Gamescom and improve them for other future events like PAX West, which is coming up soon, then I would say that it's probably going to be delayed until 2026, potentially early 2026. I'd say probably definitely before the first half of 2026, but that's my prediction for this if they're not able to fix it. Sad to hear. We'll keep an eye on it. We'll update. I'll update as far as I can and whenever I hear anything new. But yeah, not so great for Elden Ring fans hoping to be able to play this for the Switch too. But jumping to another gameplay demo that people have been able to check out while at Gamescom, and this is from Steve Watts over at GameSpot. Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight isn't just another Lego game. Look, like many of you, I have suffered from Lego fatigue. No matter how much I might care about Avengers or Lord of the Rings or Indiana Jones or any of the other properties Lego has adapted over the years, there have been so many Lego games, each of them with so much to do. It was impossible to keep up or sustain my interest. But Lego franchise games seems to have turned a corner now, as Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga was nicely refreshed take on the entire series, even as it retained the core Lego game collectathon loop. Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight looks to be an even greater departure, standing firmly on a love of Batman across all his media incarnations. At first, Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight looks to be an anthology of various Lego-sized Batman movies, similar to Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. But even that isn't quite right. It would be more accurate to call it a fusion of Batman movies alongside other influences and stories to build something new and original from all of its various parts. In that way, it's perfectly Lego. For example, the story mission I played at Gamescom took place in Axis Chemicals, which fans of the 1989 Michael Keaton movie will immediately recognize as the birthplace of the Joker. But instead of gangster sociopath Jack Napier being dispatched to destroy incriminating evidence in the chemical plant, but with the situation becoming a setup to kill him for sleeping with the boss's mall. I don't even know how to say it. It's Red Hood leader. It's Red Hood #1, leader of the Red Hood gang, as we've seen serve as the Joker origin story in some comic iterations. Red Hood is using the factory to manufacture a strange new compound that makes its victims laugh uncontrollably until they die. Under the hood is an unmistakable and very passable Jack Nicholson impression, so the character is not the Batman 89 Joker, but he's been blended with other stories. Likewise, the Batman who confronts him, at least in this demo, was the Robert Pattinson iteration of the character, accompanied by Jim Gordon, who looks very much like a Lego Jeffrey Wright, each of them from the 2022 film The Batman. This mixing and matching of various great moments from Batman's cinematic history is core to the spirit of Legacy of the Dark Knight, which sets the ambitious target of weaving elements of all the Batman movies with other media into a single coherent story. When asked what that means for recurring characters played by different actors like the Joker, TT Games' Jonathan Smith told GameSpot that perhaps some terrible things will happen to the Joker that will make him even more sinister and presumably, but left unsaid, more like Heath Ledger's incarnation in The Dark Knight. That same sense of playfulness extends to the Easter eggs, which have always been a Lego staple, but feel more focused here. Rather than collecting 100 doodads to unlock 200 different but mechanically identical characters, you're unlocking deep cut styles of Batman and Commissioner Gordon. Those include some you'd expect, like iconic movie appearances, alongside some you might not. Batman looked especially great in his Brave and the Bold costume molded after the 2008 cartoon show. Both Batman and Gordon have looks based on their very first comic appearances, including Bat's dopey big cowl ears and Gordon's white suit and wispy mustache. The most surprising was Batman's rainbow suit, a fully rendered Lego version of a classic and extremely goofy Silver Age comic book that has received iconic camp status. But not content to borrow solely from great Batman movies, Legacy of the Dark Knight also borrows from great Batman games. The combat is clearly inspired by the Arkham series, as Batman can perform stealth takedowns of unsuspecting Lego enemies or jump into the middle of a brawl with timing-based combat. This is simplified in some ways. The timing windows are wider and the visual indicators are bigger than in the Arkham games, and you only have 2 gadgets to use in fights, but it feels like an affectionate homage to mechanics that have been become as central to the character as any movie in the minds of Arkham fans. Legacy of the Dark Knight also introduces difficulty levels and letting younger or less experienced players thwack and pow like Batman, while giving more experienced Arkham fans more and tougher enemies to fight, and for the first time I remember, a limited pool of lives to spend on encounters. And like the later Arkham games, the hub world is a wide open Gotham City that can be explored freely. You can stop crimes, find back caches, smash collectibles like penguin, rubber duckies, and skull and skull on the rooftops, or gracefully glide between them. You can zip line your way to game speed and then float. And if you built up enough energy from beating down thugs, you can launch even higher into the air to get a bird's eye view of the city. If going ground level is more your style, you can summon a Batmobile anywhere in the open world. I only saw the Robert Pattinson muscle car iteration from the Batman in my demo, but TT Games has already teased many more Batmobiles to come, and they can be freely equipped like Batman and Gordon's costumes. I didn't really know what to expect next out of TT Games after the Skywalker saga, but Legacy of the Dark Knight is such a pleasant surprise. When you're finished building a Lego set, you might take it apart and see what else you can make from all the pieces. TT Games looks to be doing that with the Batman mythos, and I can't wait to see what they build out of it. So sorry I read the entire article, but I'll definitely still link to it in the YouTube description. But I will also shout out my friend Caboose. He is currently in Germany right now at Gamescom, and he actually was brought up by WB Games to check out Legacy of the Dark Knight. And in his preview video, which I will link in the description, I definitely recommend checking it out. He mentioned that he was hoping, when he went in, he had the expectations of this being a Arkham-like game, but with a Lego skin on it. But he realized quickly going in that this is not necessarily the Arkham game that he was hoping for. But definitely this is a different type of game, but with with some Arkham mechanics. As Steve Watts on GameSpot had said, it seems to be kind of taking homages from different parts of the Batman mythos and games and kind of blending them together in what seems to be kind of a perfect unison of all of the Bat media that we've ingested over the past 20, 30 years, or even 40 years almost 40 years with regards to Batman 89. Actually, even no further back if you talk about even the rainbow suit. So it just seems to and I kind of like the way that they're going about it. It's not tied to any particular movie like the Skywalker saga would have done, where you play a New Hope and then you play Empire Strikes Back. Like, this seems to be potentially just one large story that is taking homages and different bits and pieces of the different movies and video games and kind of blending them all together into the ultimate Batman story, which it goes from his origins all the way up to where he's an older wiser Batman kind of thing, and he is literally the Dark Knight. So I think that it's very apt to call it Legacy of the Dark Knight because it just kind of showcases everything that Batman has been for the past several decades for a lot of fans, and I think that TT Games is doing a really cool job with it. I mean, everything I keep seeing of this, like just from Gamescom, I want to play this so bad. This might be one of my most anticipated games for next year, just because it looks so cool. It looks like it'd be so much fun being able to try the different Batmobiles. I would love to be able to see what Tim Burton, to see the Tim Burton 89 Batmobile, because I built one. You can't see it sort of in my background here, but I have the full size or not actual size obviously, but the larger size 89 Batmobile that I would love to see that rendered in Lego and being able to drive it around Gotham. I'd love to be able to see what the combat is like, including with the new difficulty levels. Again, that's pretty much the only thing that we saw that potentially could be accessibility related with its two difficulty modes of Cape Crusader and Dark Knight, but it does look like they're kind of expanding out to beyond to just a kids or family type game, that they are looking to adults who want to be able to play this too, and it will be a challenge for those if you decide to choose the Dark Knight difficulty. So I think that's cool. I'm excited. Again, definitely recommend checking out the video if you want to be able to see some footage of that from Caboose. I would show it here, but I have not. I wanted to ask him for permission. I haven't been able to get a chance to do that, so I'll just link to it in the description if you want to be able to check out his footage from the game, which looks pretty cool, including some Batmobile, driving around the Batmobile, some combat stuff, and more. So, and then lastly, the folks have been checking out Hollow Knight Silksong because it is playable at Gamescom. I'm going to be playing this video kind of with the sound off just in case, but I want to be able to at least have them show some footage. Now, I have not necessarily been a Hollow Knight fan, and I know that a lot of people are. Mostly it's because of the lack of accessibility, but I do want to be able to shout out that this game, I know that is definitely something that a lot of people have been wanting to be able to play. play, and this has been widely anticipated, including widely speculated as to when it would ever be announced. But as of this recording, technically the showcase for the Hollow Knight Silksong is just about to happen. It's technically 10 a.m. right now. It's supposed to happen in about half an hour. So I apologize, as I won't have any more details about this. So maybe this might be something I'll cover on Monday, because I won't be able to do an episode tomorrow. But let's see what Simon Cardy has said about the game itself. I finally played Hollow Knight Silksong. No, I don't mean to brag, but instead find myself having to type it out just to convince my eyes that it actually happened. Yes, it may have only been around for 20 minutes, but the long-awaited sequel shows little sign of disappointing. During my demo at Gamescom 2025, I was faced with a choice of two areas to play in: Moss Grotto or Deep Docks. Of course, I was going to try both, but that first went for Moss Grotto, based on nothing apart from green being my favorite color, which turned out to be the right decision. The sunlit grassy zone appears to be the very beginning of Silksong, as I fell into it following a brief cutscene in which a caged hornet, the playable princess protagonist or protagonist, breaks free from the metal wagon she's held captive in by collapsing the bridge it's being paraded on. Developer Team Cherry seems keen on immersing us straight back into the world of Hollow Knight right from the very beginning, teasing lore via passage of conductor Romino's Farloom Folly. As for Moss Grotto itself, it felt very much like a reintroduction to the core mechanics of Hollow Knight. A mixture of rudimentary platforming and simple battles was littered across its grassy floors, in a short but sweet section of Silksong's presumably sprawling labyrinth of a world. It all ended with a boss fight against a large queen bee-like insect that attempted to lock me in her lair. Moss Mother gave me little boss bother, though. I love that alliteration, Simon. Dispatching them by unlocking that long dormant Hollow Knight muscle memory as I leapt over darting diagonal attacks and evaded crumbling rocks falling from the sky. It was action platforming 101, but still felt incredibly satisfying. I then swiftly moved on to Deep Docks, which turned out to be an entirely different proposition. Tools such as kunai, which could be thrown horizontally to pierce foes, were added to my arsenal, along with skills such as a familiar dash ability. Things naturally get more complex with more items to juggle, which is reflected in Deep Docks' level design that comprises a maze of... Ooh, excuse me, I had to burp there. Oh my. That comprises a maze of clanking metal elevators and the numerous semi-hidden levers that operate them. I may have only spent a handful of minutes there, but I could already see myself getting hopelessly lost without the aid of one of Cornifier's ever valuable maps. Upon unlocking a boss area, I was confronted by an enemy of far greater threat than I had encountered yet. Lace, a balletic white insect, not too dissimilar in look to Hornet herself, dazzled me with intricate combos delivered at a speed my poor brain could not compute quickly enough. Defeated, I moved on, knowing this would be a battle for another day and not one I particularly wanted the dozens of people waiting in the queue behind to witness me losing again and again. While it's too early to gauge the overall difficulty of Silksong, the jump in this latter area was noticeable. With enemies capable of far more than simple prods and darts, I usually welcome added complexity and evolution of combat when it comes to sequels, so I have no great issue here. I just hope that in totality, fights won't become too tiresome with exploration and progress being halted too often. Discovering the secrets of Hollow Knight's world was maybe the purest of its joys to me. I wouldn't want Silksong to feel like running into a brick wall too often. There are concessions to make you feel more powerful compared to the original, though. Health regain is now divorced from skills, meaning you can throw those kunai liberally without having to sacrifice a potential life-saving heal. Attack is still the best from a form of defense, echoing some of my favorite systems from the likes of Control, Doom, Eternal, and of course the original Hollow Knight. This is emphasized by the fact that you can only trigger health regen when your silk white bar is full, encouraging even more offensive maneuvers to build that up quickly. Dodging will only get you so far in Hollow Knight Silksong. All these tweaks and changes tie together to create a more aggressive mini beast, and although I certainly have a soft spot for the original Hollow Knight, I'm finding myself instantly drawn to Silksong more. Okay. Seeing the excitement of a lot of folks playing this game, or want to be able to play at least Hollow Knight in general, I'm very like the pull to be able to try out this game is definitely there. I think that I would love to be able to see potentially what accessible design could be in there, if there is any, or if there's any accessibility that's being added in based off of potentially that its accessibility has been a part of gaming for the past couple of years, that maybe Team Cherry sort of took that and hopefully maybe made it a little bit more accessible. But then again, who knows? They have been working on this game for quite a while, and it doesn't necessarily mean that they were able to incorporate accessibility in a way that makes sense, that were able to be brought into the main design of the game. So there could be some design elements that are just part of the core gameplay that are not accessible. So I want to try. I want to try it. I want to definitely take a look. I don't know. It's one of those. I think I need to play the original game in order to be able to understand it. In order to be able to understand it and be able to give it a try, so at least I know what could be improved upon for accessibility. So with that being said, I probably might pick up Hollow Knight, the original, and then maybe play that on stream here on this YouTube channel at some point before it comes out, which could potentially be, if we'll find out in a few minutes. Basically, I could say my prediction is sometime in September, October. We'll see, but yeah. Well, I'm curious now. I'm openly curious about this game and about this franchise. So if you have played Hollow Knight, let me know what you thought of it, and what are you looking forward to or hoping for accessibility in that. Let me know in the comment section down below. Speaking of that, if you want to be able to let me know about any of the comments about any of the games that I talked about, including Elden Ring or Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight, let me know about that, about your thoughts in the comments section down below. All right, that is going to be it for me for today. I want to thank you for being here. I want to thank you for watching. Again, I won't be available tomorrow to be able to do a show because I will be at Fan Expo. I will be streaming on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/SteveSaylor. I'll be streaming at 10 a.m. Eastern to 2 p.m. Pacific. Sorry, to 2 p.m. Eastern. I'll be playing some Magic the Gathering. I have some packs I'm going to open. If you donate $15, I'll open up a brand new pack, and hopefully we'll raise some good money for Princess Margaret Children's Hospital. And yeah, we're looking forward to that. And I'll be playing some Magic the Gathering Arena too. So make sure to be able to check that out tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Thanks again for watching. Hope to see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.